works. Let's make sure recording is okay. Got it. Perfect. Just going to start recording now. I can always trim that later. Just let a few more people get in, but thank you everyone for joining us. Hello.
A lot of cat faces.
A lot of cat faces.
How many PCC.ETHs?
Getting a few in. I love seeing all those cat faces. That's the best part of the week.
5, 6? You need a better week.
We're working on that, right?
Alex,
amazing.
That's playing my PCC.ETH and I'll get one. Alex, website.
Just head to the website, penelopescountryclub.com. Can claim it right there.
Has a little tab. You go there, wallet. Select the cat that you want to attach it to. Remember, you just pick one.
You have to own it as well, Alex.
Yeah, so unfortunately you can't use the rest of it if you're a fraud. You got some ETH now, though. Maybe spend it.
That is very true. Alrighty. I think that is a good enough start, and we'll go from here. So yeah, I'm already recording, so let me give myself a break. Hello everyone, Happy New Year. We are now live back with the Spaces. Had a little break over the Christmas and New Year period, which is obviously a busy old time for other things other than NFTs, which apparently exists. Had to try and explain what I do for a living a few times, which to varying degrees of success. But yeah, we're back. Carlini is here with me as per usual. We're going to go through a few bits of housekeeping, some extra news on our latest airdrop, our Comic Cat, which should be in your wallets as of now, as of the end of last year, actually, because it was December's airdrop. We've got a few questions from the community as well. So we'll go through those, and that will probably lead to some more discussions. If there's anyone in the chat listening live who wants to come up and ask a question themselves, or you just want to tag me either on Twitter or in the Discord server, then we can do some live questions as well. But yeah, just kind of wanted to say thank you to everyone for sticking with us through 2021 and getting involved, and lots more to come. So I think the Medium article, Carlini, that you put out was probably a good place to start, of just a few bits and pieces of what's coming this year. I know there was a longer list. We'll get into that a little bit on the Q&A later, but from that list that you put out on that Medium article, what was the biggest thing that kind of made you the most excited to put in of where we're going this year?
Well, it's token. It always has to be token, just because unfortunately it was after we'd already sort of said what we were doing that it clicked with me that what Cyberkongs were doing, and I think it was before Subducks came out that I'd sort of changed my mind. But I just think the way a token can be utilized, and I don't think anyone has cracked it yet, and I'm not saying I have it cracked, but I think using a token that your NFT yields will just lead to more of a community, which, right now everyone says, oh yeah, I'm buying X because of the community, but really, everyone's just waiting to sell at the top and then buy in lower and then try and flip again. It's a flipper's game, NFTs, and what the token adds is the ability for people to hold their NFT, not really think about the value, because then the token is allowing them to do other things, because they then yield that, and it's those other things that's important that everyone's trying to crack. I'm sure Bored Ape's working on it. I'm sure Cool Cats are working on it with the milk. I'm sure Kongs, because they've now run out of the babies. So we're currently, as a Kitty Vault, we are earning banana, but we can't really, unless I've missed something, we can't really do anything with it at the moment. So what am I most excited for? It's token, because that's basically going to be the whole year. That's everything that we're going to work on this year, unless, so the space we're in, things can change. Someone could just launch something, bam, and then you're like, oh my god, I need to get on top of that because that's amazing. And maybe we have to pivot. So we're quite nimble in that fact, that we can just pivot like that. Our roadmap 2.0 is to come, but because we don't have, right, we're going to do this and then this and then this and then this, and we don't have times except our airdrops, which I do regret. I do regret having the airdrops sort of so structured, because right now I'm sort of working on so many different things. I'm talking to the hoodie guys for the first airdrop. We had the in-house work on the kittens, was the third airdrop, the model. So I'm talking to the model guys. We're working with artists on the comic, which is the one we've just released. And then while also working on the next 4 that need to come out. So we're in-house working on the next companion. And it's just, I guess I didn't realize, because when I first said that, I'd been working on NFT boxes, and we did, January box, February box, March box, April box, and it was just sort of, it rolled nicely. And I kind of wanted to do the opposite of that, because we did we took money in boxes every month, and this time we would just be giving every month. But I also didn't want to just airdrop stuff. So there have been plenty of projects where you've just got an airdrop that is nothing. Like, you can't do anything with it at all. And while some people might get our airdrop and think, I don't want a comic. Why do I want a comic? At least it's also a share of the Kitty Vault. I probably shouldn't say share. At least it's a token of the Kitty Vault, because you're getting airdropped something, at least, instead of just an NFT that you end up throwing into whatever that DAO is that's just accepting NFTs for a token. We used to talk about that in Discord as what we're going to call it, trash, I think, where you just threw in NFT. But this was long before the mania. This was almost a route that a couple of guys took an NFT boxes idea into trash. So, long before we took off hugely. So, to summarize, what am I most excited for this year? What I'm most excited for this year is token, and what we will do with it and how we will build on it.
Succinct as always, my friend. Thank you very much. Speaking of the airdrops that we got to, just wanted to talk a little bit more about the Comic Cat, where we are with that. I know we'll have a explainer video, as we have done for all of our airdrops. I know we'll have that explainer video out shortly. But yeah, just a little bit more about the Comic Cat, what that means. Just to touch on the Kitty Vault briefly as well. That's having a very lovely week with the way that this year has started. So the newsletter that's coming out on Friday will be quite interesting to see the changes between last week and this week, and also last year and this year, I guess. But yeah, so the Comic Cat, what have we got so far? Do we know when that's going to be released? How many NFTs of the Comic Cat you're going to have to trade in to get that physical comic, should you want it? All of those fun questions.
Well, we were going to have the explainer video out, and it was going to be slightly different. We've had in the past, we've had explainer videos, the sort of cartoon as people would call them, explainer videos. But this time we were going to take our sort of ENS explainer and the weekly videos and sort of do it in that way. Unfortunately, COVID struck, and the location those are normally shot, we weren't able to do that, and the guy who films them and edits it wasn't able to work with us at the moment. I think that is getting sorted this week. I think it's getting filmed this week. It involves, I believe, a costume change or two, a couple of characters. It's not as explainery as just a straight up sort of, right, here's what it is, bish bash bosh. It's a bit more of, some would say, a mystery. So we have that video coming out. It turns out, because how we base those numbers, so the hoodie, you had to trade in 10 of the NFTs to get the hoodie. The way we worked that out is we effectively found out the estimated price of the token, of the NFT, the very underlying. I keep wanting to say share, and I really don't want to say share. Proportion of the Kitty Vault, that is what that is worth, because that is what we get back. And then we price that up against what we have to pay, because if you redeem a hoodie, we have to buy that hoodie. Like, we have to pay IYK to sort that out and print it and all of that, and then get it shipped to you. And in return, we get the Kitty Vault token. So we're kind of, in doing that, we're pricing it up in a way that we're making a bet on the Kitty Vault. So we're effectively buying in dollars a proportional representation of the Kitty Vault, because we're bullish on NFTs, and it's being priced accordingly. And it turns out comics are not really that expensive compared to adding an NFT to a hoodie, or 3D printing a very unique model. Because obviously none of these models will be the same, and all 10k cats could make a option, and there are 3 bodies, and that could be 30k different options. So in comparison, the comic, we would just be looking for one NFT to trade in. So it will be very interesting to see. I expect more people will claim a comic, because it's hard to say that it's cheap, because when you look at the real world and what people do for certain amounts of money, that in this NFT world is deemed very tiny, and that's a huge amount of money to them. So I guess in the real world, this will be an expensive comic, but in the NFT world, it will be a very cheap comic, if that makes any sense. Like, the comics now, I was looking at, I don't have OpenSea up at the moment, it's probably down. It was like 0.004 ETH or something to get the comic NFT. So the ability to buy one of those, you're probably paying more in gas, and then you trade it in, and then you get a comic at your house. And will you want to read it? Will you just want to display it? Will you just want to have it as sort of a memento? Like, I look to my left and I still have 180 something Gary Vee books, because I haven't done anything with those. But I got my Furious Trainers, I got the boxes that came in, I got the ledgers, I've got my man's coins, I've got quite a lot of Penelope stuff. I've got my Top Shot Cool Cats, Infinite Objects, I've got my Nifty Slabs, I've got Dead Papa, I've got Grey Early Papa. Just having mementos of this sort of crazy experience that we're all having in some form of another, in this we're early, we're going to make it sort of world, will be nice to look back on in the future, and the comics very much we can produce one NFT per. So I think we'll have more people claiming comics. I don't know exactly. Will we have more claim? I think we might have more NFTs burnt for the hoodies, is a guess. I don't know. I have no idea. I'm just guessing. Just because it would have to be 10 times more people claiming a comic. And I think more people will, but the amount of people who've told me they're going to claim a hoodie, I don't think we'll have 10 times that. So we're working with some great artists on the comic. We have the story written out, and it very much has the ability to become a series. It's not pricey to the point that would stop us doing it. We've got everything in place for it to continue, and if people like it, that can certainly happen. And it wouldn't be an airdrop. I kind of am done from an airdrop point of view at this point. It will all be on token. So maybe I don't know, just spitballing off the top of my head, you get the second comic if you have X amount of token at an average time, or at a certain, if you stake a certain amount, something along those lines, you can get the second comic. There's no reason for a huge sale or anything like that. It would just be adding to sort of the lore of the country club, I guess. More additional comics, a bit like kind of ish. When you're playing Halo and then there are loads of books around Halo, the majority of people haven't read them, but then you go sometimes on Reddit and someone's angry that there are certain guns in the game because in the book that gun was modified by that date or whatever, and we'll add. The goal is to add that sort of thing slowly to our ecosystem, build it up, and go from there. Where the artwork is running a little slower than we were told it would take, but given that the hoodies still aren't out and the comics were dropped 6 days ago, realistically I would like all of them to come out physically in the correct order, but I'm not sure that will happen. I think the comic may jump ahead and be one of the sooner ones.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to tease any of the artwork that we've got so far, but yeah, looks really, really cool. I think it'll be really fun having that on a bookshelf somewhere. I've got a few other comics that will go quite nicely with. I really like the concept of it, and hopefully it's something that people will get a kick out of. And like you said, it being one Comic Cat NFT to get one physical comic, I think that'll lead to quite a few out in the wild, hopefully. So that'll be really fun. Cool. So there we got that to come. Obviously, we have airdrop number 5, which will be coming later this month. I think we're going to do another special spaces for that. We didn't do one for the comic just because of the time of year, it being December and there's family stuff kicking about and traveling and all of that sort of all that malarkey. But yeah, we'll do another kind of announcement. Airdrop announcement spaces later on this month once we have that all ready to go. I don't know if there's anything else I wanted to cover before we move on to question and answers. Unless you had anything. Well, actually, I won't ask you if you've got anything because then we're going to move into Q&A. And then if you answer something that's someone in the community's asked, then that's no good. So we'll start off. Had 3 questions from Gibber.eth in my DMs earlier this week. So question 1 is what's in store for PCCs in 2022? Question 2 is what is your New Year's resolution? And question 3 is are we going to update the OpenSea description on the Penelope's Country Club collection?
So 1. Starting at 1. 1 was what is coming in 2022.
What is in store for PCCs in 2022?
So all of the physicals that we've promised, they're all underway. Token, obviously, which will be a yielding token, 10 a day for your PCC, 1 for your kitten and your other companion, which is one of the 4 airdrops still to come, and 5 for a tier 2, which is not yet released. Then there are the 4 airdrops, just mentioned one of them, three different non-companion ones to come. So April will be the last airdrop. Then we're getting into token territory. We will have a website update. We've been working on having loads of things there. So at the start, my goal was to have. So 2017, I played a lot. 2018 even as well. Bit of 2019. Played a lot of CryptoKitties. And when you look at their website compared to most other websites now, it's quite incredible what's on there and what they built. And they have the cat codex, for example, which shows you about your own collection, and you could see if you collected all the cat furs, or if you've got all the different eyes, or if you had gems of certain eyes, and gems were effectively the, I guess in terms people would understand now, the early mint of a certain trait. So like the first quizzical eyes would be the diamond, would be our example, but we don't have breeding, so it would be a player bred normally one. So that was something I've been referring to that as, I guess, the collection log, or it will be like a sticker booky sort of thing where you can see what you've collected, and I want you to be able to scroll our collection on our site. I had a lot of different things I wanted on there as well, but I won't get into that because otherwise Jeb might kill me if I'm getting all of my ideas out in the open and he then has to try and figure out how to implement that in time. 3D. So you may have seen the models that we've teased the bodies for. So the models, you can pick 3 different poses and then put a cat of your choice into that pose, I guess would be the way of putting that. That Medium article had the sort of astronaut. It's not coloured up, but it is an astronaut, and we have 2 others. So we are working with a team who have great 3D artists, and from that point, it's not ready yet, but in a method that I can't really yet disclose, will be aiming to release bodies. So I can't talk about it too much because it's not really, it's not fully ours to talk about yet. But you'll be able to have your pairs. Hopefully, this is the current plan, which, as you find out when you're building stuff, changes daily as different people tell you different things. But the plan will be you have the ability to switch your PCC to a PCC with a body if that is what you desire. And I understand that will depend on how they look, and that will be a lot of artist work and then 3D work and all of this. And then from there, we get to token again. So we had a pretty exciting team chat yesterday where something came up. Do I get no?
No.
I've not been pumpy for 6 months, and if I'm suddenly like, we got the best thing ever, you're gonna gamble your token, and then you're gonna get this, and you're gonna do it in this way, and then hype people up for it. No, we'll wait. But we are very excited about what we can then do with that. But it is early. It needs to be built. It needs to go through legal. It should be fine. Absolutely no ETA at all. Like I said, it was yesterday, and there are so many moving parts. we do need to even wait before we build it, and even then we might need more team members for that sort of thing. We'd need more funds allocation, and there's just a lot of stuff going on there. But the body 3D metaverse compatible sort of stuff is very much a focus for 2022, and we're going to do what we can as soon as we can. Just know that we're targeting it, but it may take a bit of time. And in my head, it's amazing, but we got to get there. What was the second part? What's my New Year's resolution?
Question 2 is, what is your New Year's resolution? What is your PCC New Year's resolution?
I
would imagine it's
make token great again.
Make token great again.
Also, hey, can we see if Lucky Mankai's are dead? Like, can we take Catnip back? Did they ever launch Catnip?
I don't know. Let me have a look. I'm in that server somewhere.
Are you in their server?
Oh, I was, and then they moved it. Hold on. They moved house to a different server.
Oh, I found
which was some time ago. Yeah, it looks like they're still going.
Oh, okay. Have they released the token? No. Still working on it. We may have said it first, but they've gone with Catnip utility token. Oh, it started on the October the 3rd. Okay, they have used it. Okay, so we can't.
Fine. Got something else.
We'll keep a token for now then.
I feel I've got a good one that was on. I think it was one of your October giveaway tweets that you did. That was, what can we use as a name for token? So I think I've got one from one of those tweets, which I'm obviously not going to say in case there's another project that steals it like the Lucky Manekis did. But yeah, I like it. And question 3, Jim has actually quite clarified this with me because I didn't do it the justice it deserves. Our OpenSea description is still the same as it was on day 1 when we first launch. So Penelope's Country Club is a collection of 10,000 randomly generated NFTs, etc., etc. When do we see that evolving to a more focused PCC is X statement?
That's another thing that I want to do ASAP, and I don't want to just do it there. I want to do it everywhere. I want to sort of link up our collections better. I think PCC collection, given scams and things like that, should probably link to all the others. Should link to Kitten. Should link to Perks. Should link to Gift. Or we should get them all. Sort of. We did banners recently just because they looked kind of sad, but we need to change the logo and the text for all of them, and that's definitely on the to-do list. So that is on our radar, and that isn't as hard as releasing token or making a 3D body that will somehow go onto your cat head. So that should be much sooner than this.
Perfect. Hope that answered that properly, Jibbo. If not, then yeah, just reach out because I think we've got a few more questions to go. We can always swing back round. Next one's from MComs asking, is it still looking likely for opening up claiming for the physical model this month?
Let me just open up our chat with the thing. I think there is work to be done on a sort of packaging side. So your models will come in a certain packaging, and they're going to have inside a little card. So a bit like how, say, on the back of your Nifty slab, it says, Penelope's Country Club, number 786, 1 of 1, and then it has the traits. It will have that sort of, I guess, official card inside. that will have certain information, and I'm hoping that we'll have things like if you have a .pcc.eth, that can go onto the card as well. So you sort of have your username, your wallet attached to this model in a way. At least the claiming this month is most likely to be, can the website part of it be up? Because even if models don't start this month, which is not suggested, there's been no inkling yet that it's delayed. But I'm just saying, if it does get delayed for whatever reason, it turns out all the Zeuses are too dumb. We all hate Zeuses.
What?
I was waiting for that reaction. If there's any problem and the model has to be delayed, then we can still open up claiming, and the first person to claim gets the first one, second one, and we have said the target is 50 a month. So then we get an idea of demand, and we'll know if we'll be getting some. Because if only 30 people claim, and then we will effectively take the other 20 and do something with those. So yes, we should be able to claim in January.
Amazing. I'm very excited for that. PDM203.eth asked us for an update on our roadmap on token and on the metaverse. I believe we've kind of covered that with the first few questions and few bits and pieces so far. But yeah, I think roadmap 2.0, as you mentioned, kind of leaving that for the time being, so we can be flexible, we can pivot into things as they come up. I think we have our own, as you said, we've got our own ideas, but yeah, kind of keeping things a little bit more loose with that. Token, obviously, you've covered, and metaverse with the bodies and other bits and pieces that we won't go into just yet. PDM203, if that doesn't cover what you were asking for, then just let me know whilst we're still going, and we can circle back, as I said. But moving on to jt.pcc.eth, great name. Any future thought into community storytelling based on cats we own, building our own backstories for the cats and archiving that through the website or some other means? Sort of a lore concept, but it can be fun to bring some personality to each of the cats since they don't have actual names per the minting convention.
That sort of thing actually cropped up in our team meeting yesterday. The ability, we have the ability to pivot to a certain thing that I won't bore everyone with the technicals, but we can do something behind the scenes that would then allow that to happen, but it's kind of a trade-off. And my argument was, at this point, just being able to name your cat isn't worth the negative sides of that. So again, going to CryptoKitties, we were able to name our cats, and we couldn't change the bios, but I know Kongs lets you add a bio to your cat. While that is briefly fun, I don't think people will want to pay, because you have to remember, if you're doing it on ETH, you're looking at it will be a fairly cheap transaction in the case of a small name change, but you're still putting information onto the blockchain. And if we put dev time into allowing you to name your cat, and then suddenly people are like, I don't want to name my cat for $150, and you're like, yeah, I know, kind of why, because you can name it anyway. We've got Captain Snuggles, right? People can name their cats themselves, so it's there is another way that doesn't cost gas, but then that costs decentralization, and that's the sort of hang up there. You're weighing up where is this sort of meta going? Like, saying that you had everything on IPFS was fairly big last year, the last 6 months maybe, but people don't seem to mind about mutants and where their metadata is stored. So are we changing? Do do people start trusting teams more? Like you effectively trust us to do a certain amount of stuff anyway. Where's the line? Where do the community believe that line is? And that's a hard one, because we have lots of different things that we can currently do as the founders, and there are certain things that founders almost always need to be able to do if they're working on the project. You know, it is effectively a company that we're trying to build up, and you wouldn't want to handcuff the CEO and their abilities. But then on the other hand, where is the line drawn on how important it is that what power the community have? Because Web3 is, it isn't you profit from your users, it's you profit with your users. The users profit as well, and everyone is working together for a common goal. The team obviously working much harder because it's their job, and community just pitching in community-wise, or maybe someone's gone above and beyond and built a really great site to do X, or they've built an app to do Y, or they've done a branding guide for Z. But sort of coming back to, I guess I've just pivoted off on why I'm not entirely gung-ho on naming and bios yet, just because there is two big sort of hang-ups, and that being you either go the cheap route and then you've got a decentralization sort of question, or you go the decentralized route and you've got a cost problem. And my goal is more to make it worth naming your cat. I want you to feel attached to your cat or cats. It's probably much easier to make people be connected to one cat. This is my cat. And we are in NFTs. People are here primarily to flip at the start, and our job is to try and get you captured into the love of at least one cat. If we get 10,000 people who have one cat and they don't want to get rid of that cat, then goal complete. It would take a lot for these people to let go of their NFT, and we're trying to make it so that you want to grasp onto at least one as tightly as you can, and that is our long-term goal. And law does help that a lot, and we are trying to work towards that. The site, as I just said, the collection log and the sort of sticker booky sort of way, that will be designed in a lore aspect. The comic adds to the lore, and we will have characters from the community will pop in, which we were considering doing for the first one, but Punk's Comic did it so well with their website and the sort of the voting and the draft that we didn't want to do it in a subpar sort of rushed way. It was getting the cats was holding up the comic being drawn, so we've picked certain cats from our current collection to use for the first comic, and then if the demand is there for a second comic, we'll probably do some sort of vote or community competition to see which characters are then involved in the next comic, which again adds to the lore. And some people may not want to go into the next comic, as there is a bit of, I guess, lore risk by being in one of these comics. So we are trying, we're by giving you a model of your cat that is, again, focusing on your cat. It may not be lore as such, it's not adding to the story, but it is definitely something that Token is going to try and focus on. Making you want to hold your cats is the goal. And I have been in this space long enough to know that the majority of people will want to hold their cats because they think the number will go up. But we're going to try and foster this sort of feeling that you have this attachment to your cat, and we are going to be trying to focus on that in lots of different ways. We do have lots of different plans of ways that you can customize in the future, and that will make that cat more yours. And if we get to the point where maybe people really do want to be able to name their cats in some way, say just on the website, or maybe both. Maybe you can edit a cat name on the website, and then if you really want it on chain, there's an option to do that as well. We can. That's something I want, but I kind of want that at the right time, because we're in a space that's moving ridiculously quickly, on top of the crypto space that is also moving ridiculously quickly. And I'm keeping my eye on things like, I'm not so sure on Matic, but Immutable X, maybe there's something that can be done there. It very much just always feels that if you just wait, another month or two, maybe something else will come out that then allows you to do more for cheap on the blockchain. So we're law, yes, very much want to do it, and we're going to try our best.
Nice. Yeah, I came across that question earlier. I thought it was good timing, because obviously we did bring it up yesterday in the meeting, as you said at the start. Yeah, I think it's something that would be fun, but has to be done in the right way and has to be done at the right time, as you said. So yeah, plenty of other stuff to be getting along with as well. This is from Casablanca.pcc.eth. Great name, very good. Do we know if token will be obtained by actually staking cats and companions, or will it be a yield for the wallet holding them that they can just claim when they want? And a sub question: what are your 2022 locks, not including doodles?
Well, 2022 locks. Penelope's. Going to the moon.
Of course.
New year, new moon boy. That's that's my New Year's resolution. And sorry, what was the first bit?
The first bit, Moonboy, was: do we know if token will be obtained by actually staking cats and companions, or will it be a yield for the wallet holding them?
So we're still very much in the stage of pros and cons between all the different methods. And a lot of the different tokens have done this in a lot of different ways. And there isn't a token that has done exactly what we want. And, again, blockchain, the tech is still early in comparison to where it will end up, I'm sure. It's about weighing up those pros and cons. Staking, I don't think so. The only real benefit of staking is number go up, and is fake number go up. It's number going up because people have staked for X amount of months and they can't release them, and suddenly the teams say something that makes people FOMO in, but there's a large percentage of the tokens that can't possibly be sold. So you've gone from a 10k collection to a 2k collection because 8k are staked, and then suddenly the team have said X is coming, or there's a deal with Y, or we're building Z, and people FOMO in because of that information, and then you have a supply shock sort of pump, which is great for the team because they get the revenue and the extra ETH to work with, but then you have a bunch of people holding in your community, because as soon as that person buys in, they're in your community and they've bought at such a high price because of how you've made people stake and then how you've made people FOMO in. I mean, I guess, plenty of FOMO happens that isn't the team's fault. So, there are other scenarios as well. But actually locking it up, I think the Kongs way is better, where the Genesis Kongs, where it just comes to the wallet. And I do have to have a meeting with Hoddle and get basically this plan that's in my head onto his paper so that he can see exactly what I think I want, and then he can tell me why that won't work and what he thinks is better. But I don't think staking is the way we're going to go, and no one is tagging me to say that I'm wrong and I'm saying something dumb. I think it should just be coming to the wallet. And I will add, there is one worry we have there, and that's the NFTX Vault. NFTX Vault and Per. So I did actually speak to Javery today, and they are working on something. It got pretty technical pretty fast, but they're working on a way that you could wrap up on NFTX, get Per, stake your Per so that you had the dividend from staking the Per in NFTX. So all sales get you that dividend, but then also they want you to get the yield as well. But the issue there is the yield would go, if it goes to the wallet, who holds it, it will go to an NFTX vault, which no one can control and no one can do anything with. So they were working on something that sounded like it made it possible. Otherwise, we may have to pull liquidity from the NFTX vault, just because we've got so many cats in there that all of the token would go to somewhere that it could never be used, and it would, I guess, never be claimed. I'm assuming we claim it. I think that's the most likely way. But again, we'll see when we really nail down the methods. So yeah, I think we're looking at not staking, a daily yield that you claim, and potentially just a heads up on NFTX, or maybe not if that's worked out. I only had that chat today, and it went over my head a bit.
Glad I wasn't on that call then, because it was going over your head. I've got no chance. Cool. Yeah, I think Casablanca agrees with that in terms of disliking staking and preferring the kind of the passive yield, as I think is the term. But yeah, we'll obviously cover all that and communicate that as we get the solid concrete answers. Got a couple of questions from Edge, actually. Edge.pcc.eth, great name. Is the legal team still being led by a man with a pet monkey or something like that, from what I recall?
I can't remember the exact collection. I think it's Soul Monkey or something like that. But yeah, he's like our legal coordinator, I guess. I don't actually know the proper name. I should have looked at the invoice. But
liaison?
He finds us. He is a lawyer, but he also finds us the right lawyer in different countries when we have to do, because token can't be launched from the UK. It has to be launched elsewhere, and it has to be sort of air gapped from our company here. So we're launching it in BVI, and I don't know anyone in BVI, but luckily, let alone lawyers. But he put us in connection with the right people there, and then we had to be in connection with some people in the UK for different things. And I might ask about the US, just because I haven't seen it so much now, but early on in sort of tokens coming about, there are a lot of people worried that if they were getting token yielded from their NFT, the SEC would come after them and all this sort of stuff. And I guess I'm not a lawyer, sort of disclaimer. But what I was advised from an off-the-record, not paid for sort of explanation was, you never have to worry yourself. The issue will lie with the company. So we at PERS have to worry about token. Just having a PER and then getting a token is not going to be an issue for you. you're obviously, if you sell it and things like that, you have to worry about your own personal taxes in whatever country you're in. But and we were considering getting an American lawyer to get sort of that written. Like if anything bad happens, Penelope's is screwed, but not the people. And again, we're not expecting that, because I wouldn't be launching a token if I thought, I'm not doing Penelope's for the money. And then if suddenly there's some sort of SEC fine for launching the token, I'm not about that at all. But we're very much should be in the clear, looking good to go, and now on to building token.
Exactly, and that's why we did the diligence and why we set it up the way that we set it up was was to make sure that things like that don't happen, which apparently is by a guy with a pet monkey as his display pic. But there we go. I said I had two questions from Edge. The other one from Edge was comic book seems to be the easiest way to involve other projects in a collab fashion, like a con character or appearance. Is this something that has been brought up, something that we've thought of?
Yes. With collabs and stuff, I'm kind of the mind that we should wait until we're a bit bigger. It's tricky to get the higher level collabs that people would actually care about early on, and I don't mean that time wise, sort of like status wise. Like we saw with Bored Apes, their first merch drop was Bored Apes merch, and then they were in the process of blowing up when they got the Bobby Hundreds sort of collab. So we're very much, it's on our radar. It's a bit tricky with the comic style, just because they may not want to be involved in the comic the way that the comic is done. They may want to live. But what we're thinking of is we want to do lots of collabs in 2022. We just want to make sure that we actually do have one lined up, which I cannot say yet. I'm unable to release that information, but it's something I'm pretty excited about and have already kind of bought into. We're going to have a Penelope in this collab in a different project, but that's for another day. That's not for now. So we are looking at collabs. I just don't think we're, apart from people that I already have a good relationship with, I don't think we're at big collab level. Or I mean, we're definitely not a big collab level. We're not going to suddenly work with Gucci, but the sort of, we're not at the mid tier that we want to get to. So we're just going to work really hard to get there. And token is also another thing that we can use, because I'm planning out the tokenomics of token, and it's not going to be like say Cyberkongs, that is just straight up, it is only to the Kongs, because they're able to use the team. I don't fully know how it works there completely, but I know, say, Coco is on the team. I know he doesn't own the project, so I don't know behind the scenes how that works, but he gets a large percentage of the banana, so they can then do things like the Kongs Shark Tank, where they can give out banana, and of course we had that breeding party where Coco had generously given out banana to effectively our community. Like Huda and Yoda were just lobbing it at people in Discord, broke Discord, and everything was wild. So we're going to have Token as the company as well, and that will be vested and trickle out, much like if you kind of think of your cat as having all of the token already, and then it slowly comes out of the cat over the years. That will almost be the same for the company token. So we'll have token that we can use for collabs. So we could, maybe if we're, as they say, punching, maybe if we're punching and we're like, hey, do you want to do a collab? You're a little higher up the tier than us, but we can offer token because we don't have huge amount of funds. A lot of our original sale went directly into the community wallet, into the Kitty Vault, into charity donation. So we're not sitting on hundreds of ETH like some of these other collections that have done a second sale. But with token, we'd have our own token, and this is how a lot of sort of early crypto projects sort of sort it out. They offer their own token early on to investors, and it's vested, and there's a sort of process by which that unlocks slowly or suddenly. But our team token would slowly be released, and we could potentially use that for collabs, which in a way kind of gets them into your ecosystem, because if we also because we're the team, we can also make that vested. So if we do a collab where they slowly earn token as well, this collab in whatever way might then, they're almost part invested, right? They have incentive to work with us and make token better. So you're getting them on board in a way that just paying them wouldn't. So that's another aspect of token, the ability to sort of. The issue is this is recorded, so saying lure people into your ecosystem and trap them isn't a good thing to say. So let's pretend I didn't say that.
I can bleep it out. Yeah, definitely. I think collabs would be really cool into the future. I think we had kind of like a knock-on question from SQX. Would we need agreement from those other communities, for example? I know because you've already mentioned in terms of Kongs, or would we need that community to green light it, or is there a deal we'd have to come to, or is it because we own 2 Genesis Kongs in the vault? Could we use those because they're ours, sort of thing?
Well, if we're just using it, I wouldn't call it a collab, right? But there are certain
Very true.
There are certain projects that may crop up in our second second, what are they called? What are our kittens? Companions. There are projects that may pop up in our second companion because we own those rights, and that's a case of individually, piece by piece, what's in the vault. We can't just say, oh, it's in the vault, so we're going to do what we want with it. The punk we couldn't use because I guess over time it'll be dumb to imagine that we're going to take less than 100k, just because if you do, then what do you do? So we wouldn't use a punk, and just putting something in the vault into an NFT or into marketing or something like that, I wouldn't count that as a collab. So I'd want working with the team. And vote wise, there is a level of we're not fully decentralized. We are a company working on decentralized tech. I did see that Bored Apes mentioned in their I don't know how to even phrase this properly, so I'm just going to say some words in there. We're not racist, Fred, where they basically explain why all of these conspiracy theories that all linked together for whatever reason, why things were like they were. One of their comments, which I didn't see picked up on Twitter at all, really, a couple of Discords were talking about it, but it was like 0.6 and 7 that they'd always planned to decentralize the company, and that kind of it worried me because of how well they're doing. The team have done well, and when I hear decentralization, I worry that what is actually going to happen is the team will no longer be working on Bored Apes, and it will have to be the community. But we have a tweet of a thread where they're having to answer some sort of silliness about why the dev was called Gargamel or whatever. So it's tricky to say what's going on there. So if the team is still working on it, then that's great. But as Penelope's, we can have the decision to use our token however we want. And I have been looking at how early projects, earlier than NFTs even. So a couple of months ago, I bought quite a lot of Crypto.com token Crow, and they were originally Monaco and had done this swap to a new coin, and they held a lot of the coin and did a burn. They burnt a lot of their coin, which upped the value for the community. Now, I'm not saying that's what we'll do, because I'm currently trying to plan it out so that we have the right amounts to do different things that slowly invest, so that we're not doing anything. So the I guess for that part of the question, we will always take the community's views on board, but we are able to act as a company in how we work currently. We haven't decentralized it. I am skeptical that you can go from a project to a decentralized project well. And this is probably something that I will be, looking at closely. And if anyone does manage to do it really well, and you think, it's the pivoting thing I was talking about earlier. If something you're unsure on, then you see someone do it, and suddenly it's exceptional. You're like, right, okay, that's what's got to be done. So at this point, the token that would come to the company would remain ours. We may say, hey, we've got the option to do A or B, and we're not actually sure between the two, which one do you all prefer? And maybe people will vote in certain ways, and then we'll take that under advisement. But it's the Kitty Vault, and it's the community wallet that we can't mess with. That is the community. That requires a vote. So there are aspects of us that I guess are fully decentralized, at least when Fractional 2.0 comes out. And then there are aspects where we're just trying as hard as we can to do our best for the community. Like, I've seen this sort of Pudgy Penguin drama today about, I don't know, I went into their Discord and it seemed a mess. There didn't seem to be any information, but the community are rioting against the team because they're not doing anything, or they hyped up some eggs, and then inside there were fishing rods, and people are like, why do fishing rods come out of eggs? I probably shouldn't talk about it, because to be honest, I don't really know enough. I just had a couple of people ask me if I knew about it, so I went and had a look. And now the team have put up a vote. Do you want us to give control over to the community? It kind of seems like they've just done a sale, and now they're going to hand over the reins with no ETH. And there was something about they tried to be bought out. So 9x9x9, the Banana Penguin who gave us SOS token, who launched that, said, hey, I'll run it if you hand over the keys. And then they asked for 888 ETH or something. I don't know if that's a rumor, which is pretty outrageous if true. But again, I don't know if that's true or not. And I'm kind of just rambling on about what I was looking at today at this point.
Enough Pudgy Penguins conjecture / drama. It's not the first time they've had drama either, I feel. But anyway, let's not get into the weeds on that. What you were saying about the community wallet and the Kitty Vault actually runs in quite nicely to our next question, which is from backyarddickkarate69.pcc.eth. Elite name, saying, any update on the platform to directly make proposals for the community wallet funds? Because I think we've mentioned before, with with the system that we had with the cigar lounge, and you can go in there and say, hey, I think we should spend some community wallet funds on this, eventually became, just the name of a project. And that was kind of like, we'll buy this and put it in the vault. So I think we mentioned before a platform to directly that you can actually put together a proposal where the only way that we would actually consider it is if it's like, right, I think we should buy this project. Here are the reasons why. So just if we have any update on that platform, which I guess would come more under my remit anyway.
So that was I was looking at what Doodles use for the Doodle Bank, and the sort of forum structure that they've got, and it can all definitely be set up. It's just there is a certain amount of work that isn't too much amount of work, but it takes away from other people that are doing, I guess, what I would call currently more important work, and that is purely because we're not getting a huge amount of revenue right now to go into that vote. And with the way prices are right now, we'd sort of be voting on, how to spend. I don't even know how much it is at the moment. I'd have to work it out precisely. I'd have to go through Etherscan to work out, because it doesn't. When we get the info from the cash from OpenSea, it's like somewhere between the last 4 and 12 days of breakdown that they send to you, and it's all grouped into one. So we changed to 1% community wallet, 1% Kitty Vault, 1% team, based on a snapshot vote that we had, which was overwhelmingly passed, and that there will be a better system, and we definitely do want that better system. It just doesn't really need to be up yet, because we don't have a huge amount of ETH to spend. I think we'd be looking at under an ETH at the moment. It might be a little higher, so I would have to go and check, and maybe it would be 2 ETH if the community wallet was to vote that way as well. But just another thing to add, just because I was talking about how OpenSea takes so long to pay you, PERS today was set up on a new exchange. We were set up on an exchange that will automatically pay at the time. So when you look at Etherscan transactions for your sales on OpenSea, you'll see that your amount is split into two, and right away that gets sent to OpenSea. Like, you've got your say the alien I sold, for 150 ETH. I think 140 something came to me, and 10 went to OpenSea, and they will then take their 2.5%, and then they will send Doodles. I don't even know what Doodles. I think they're like 6 or 5.5, maybe something around there. They get sent their amount from OpenSea, whereas this new site will automatically send that to the right place. And again, it's another thing where I'm not sure. I think this platform's been announced, and me saying this, if you've been looking around Twitter, you'll know which site it is. But setting us up in a beta, I'm not really sure what I should be saying, so I don't want to overstep, just in case. And I'll just say there is a website that we've been put onto today that I like the look of. Is it an OpenSea killer? I guess we'll see. It looks like it has lots of perks. It's just OpenSea have that network effect. Right now, if you want to sell something, you put it on OpenSea. Rarible has existed forever, and while this site does look much better than Rarible for what we want it for, because Rarible it started off only as art, and I remember trying to sell wrapped CryptoPunks on it, and it was so hard to find the right NFTs, because really it was sort of like an Instagram where you look at art and you like it and then you buy it. But it was always harder to sell on Rarible, even during the CryptoPunk phase where people were getting free tokens. They were getting free Rari for selling and buying on Rarible. So I know people moan about OpenSea and it's always down, but there is a network effect there. And I would like to see this site take off. Maybe then an aggregator comes into play that can, sort of a genie thing where it picks from an FTX, it picks from this new site, it picks from OpenSea. But I guess we'll see. So yeah, I've again gone off, but that's something else that's covered.
It makes my job easy. I can just just give you like one tiny little question, and then off you go with all the info. Where did I get to on questions? We had one from Alex, which I'm never sure how much of a troll it is. When PCC Arena like Chainface Arena?
I have actually been thinking about that.
And then dodo.pcc.e followed it up with let's do it with the unredeemed kittens.
Unredeemed kittens.
I mean that project seems so much fun. So much fun.
Actually, I kind of like that idea.
It's not bad.
I have no idea how much work it would be, and if we had any capacity at all. But the unminted kittens, because currently the plan is to sell them at some point. But what if it was to sell? What if we somehow made them different? We kit them out in some sort of army gear. I don't know. Then you might get into some sort of problem there. PC thing. I don't know if that's good.
Just gladiator helmets and stuff.
Something that distinguishes them, and then part of the sale of these kittens we put into the arena, and only those kittens can go into the arena. And then it is this chain face sort of thing again, with maybe a few small changes, such as like mint directly into the arena. I don't know how happy people would be if they were forced into the arena, but maybe when we're selling them, you make it abundantly clear that they will go into the arena and you have to pull them out, but they might not survive round one.
Huddles just put a monkey covering his eyes emoji in the server. So I think you just made him sad. I've also put a tweet in there where Nate Alex says, by all means, copy our shit, copy our dynamic metadata and art, copy our global commit reveal system, copy our arena. I don't care as long as you're not trying to trick others into thinking it's us.
I nearly replied to that saying, nah, not the art, thanks. I'm basically a part-time PCC employee, part-time Nate Alex troll. So I have him on notifications on Twitter. I'm just like, troll him.
I love it. So yeah.
Obviously, Hoddle's now sad that I like the idea.
No holiday for Huddle. Full time.
On Token. He's working on Token.
I've got another couple of questions from Jibber, and then I think I'm out of questions. So question 1 is, when does the PCC ENS subdomain registration end? And when are you cutting off qualification for your 10 PCC giveaway?
The 10 PCC giveaway, I'll probably go and roll in Discord after this. Whenever we finish, I'll just go and, because I've got a retweet picker that I always use, but I'm a bit worried this time because the way it's not just any random one. I'm not committed to giving away one thing, right? I'm committed to giving away one thing unless something happens, and then I'm giving away. So I just want there to be people there that can witness sort of it happening and me not deliberately avoiding a .pcc.eth person.
I want a program that can export the names of the people who've retweeted or liked or whatever parameters you can set, and then export that as a list that you can then put into that like Wheel of Fortune wheel.
Oh, that exists. I've done that.
That'd make my life a lot easier.
Why
Link
are
me
you
up.
Wheel of Fortuning everything? Use Retweet Picker.
Because the Wheel of Fortune thing's really fun.
Just do it on your own time.
Just playing Wheel of Fortune on my own.
Yeah. Well, you do it with breakfast cereal.
The other question we have from Jibber is: have we let Fuckrender off the hook with the 1 of 1 that he promised us?
Have not. When did I DM him? Because I know he is really busy with his sort of profile picture version, and I sent a message like, "Hey, had some CUNYC members ask for an update as we made everyone vote on the crystal." And then he was like, "Hey, I haven't sent it yet. I'm confused." He didn't know at first. And then I explained it. He was like, "Oh my god, this! Yes, I'm so sorry. This went out my head completely. I'll do it early Jan if that works for you." And I was like, "No, no worry at all. You know, we didn't even expect this. We didn't buy the crystal for it, but we got people hyped for it, and they're still hyped for it, which is a good sign. But he's had a lot good. I think he got engaged since we selected the crystal.
Oh, nice! Congrats.
On the Renderverse and all this other stuff. So it is coming. Not let it. Well, I don't want to say let off the hook in a way like we're owed it. He said he'd do it, but we hadn't paid for it or anything. It's not like it was a paid for object. So I do believe it to be coming.
Amazing. That'd be really exciting. You'll see it because it'll come into the Key Vault and the Key Vault bot will light up. Speaking of which, sort of gone.
Might be a little better than we would have got. Like just a bit of human psychology. It's like, oh no, I said I'd do this and I haven't done it for however many months. I might try a little more. Make it a little more
mega crystal.
That is in no way implied in my DMs.
Well, now it has to be better.
Don't go expecting it to be. Well, luckily, we don't actually know what we were getting. So
yes, true. There is a new item in our Kitty Vault actually, just because I gave him a shout out on the in the server, but just because we're live, we now have a Mega Toad in our Kitty Vault who is French, maybe.
Mega
so
Toad.
I believe a thanks in order to Patrick James, who is listening. So thank you very much, sir.
Oh, again, he's given us 100 volt, a Subduck, a Toad, a Mega Toad.
I think it was a Mega Toad, a French Mega Toad.
What is what's the French?
He's got a little beret.
Oh, he's got a beret. Okay.
Is that okay to say? I don't know. But here we are. We've also had an update from Backyard Dick Karate 69.pcc.eth of a Perviver banner or like advert for the arena. We can call it Perviver.
Oh, it's already on the.
It's already happening.
Funnily enough, I was listening to there's a YouTube channel, well, kind of called Club Top Shot, and Andy, the guy who founded Fractional, was talking about making a Survivor-esque game, a bit like Chain Faces. It sounded to me more like a mix of Cheese Wizards and Squid Games. And he said something along the lines of, "Yeah, I'm really busy, so I don't think I could release this until." And then he delayed a bit, and people were thinking. Then he said next week. So we might see a sort of Survivor thing coming in our future.
Amazing, I love it. We're getting some good memes in the in the Discord chat now, which is great. Amazing. Does anybody listening have any other questions? Anything that we haven't covered that you want to have covered? I think I've dealt with all the questions in my DMs as we've come up. Obviously, we do these every Wednesday. So there'll be another one next week if there's anything you've missed. But yeah, I think we'll probably wrap it up there. Thank you everyone so much for listening. We'll drop this on YouTube later, as we always do. So if you missed it, or if you missed the first half, or if you had to drop off or whatever, then you can catch up there. And I think, yeah, that is all for now. Unless you've got anything else to say, Carlini.
I'd like to apologise to everyone reading as we're speaking here. It pops up with what they think we're saying, and I've been sent a screenshot of really, everyone is just waiting to sell at the top and buy in lower and then try and flip again. It's a flippers gay men effects. Where I think I must have said game.
I've been saying that for years.
It's a flippers game effectively, maybe. I can't remember.
Yeah, I think Spaces needs to work on its autogen subtitles. Maybe it's just our perfect English accents and they're not used to them. I don't know. Anyway, that is everything for now. Thank you everyone so much for coming along and listening and interacting and asking questions. You can send me questions all week in my DMs on Discord because mine are open. Yours shouldn't be, but mine are. You can get me on Twitter at TweeterOnFire78, or you can DM the Penelope's Country Club Twitter account as well, unless you're a 400,000 follower promoter, because then you don't get answered. But there we go. Yeah, thank you everyone so much, and we'll speak to you all next week.
Ciao.
Ciao.